Overwhelmed, cooped up, long hours with a difficult child.
She's torn up about ripping off a couple $100. I'll give her a polygraph. It'll prove she didn't do it.
Hate to rain on your... Call from the Tribune. They got this...
Who's your eyewitness?
Didn't say.
Forward to trying her.
She's gonna be sympathetic.
I can't believe a jury will feel sorry for a parent who scrambled her kid's brain.
I'm telling you, every parent has been there. A baby's crying can make you lose your mind. You'll pick them up, you'll rock them. I mean, hell, you'll beg them.
An injured child comes in and you scream, abuse.
Lucy wasn't spanked. She's in a coma close to death because her mother shook the life out. Sanity brought on by the stress of raising a child with permanent... You say you love your daughter, Mrs. Pritchard. How much time during the last few months did you actually spend with her? Not as before she got up in the morning and come home after Lucy went to bed. And who takes her to the park and to the zoo? And who comforts her when she cries? And who puts a Band-Aid on when she skins her? Didn't know how to comfort her. She was ruining your romantic date. That's why legal grounds. I'll see what I can do. I don't think it'll make a difference. Evelyn's too sympathetic. I'll never get a jury to convict her. As long as Lucy's technically alive. I'm not a mother. I don't know what I'd do if she were my child. Miss Pritchard's right is nullified by her legal predicament. Her judgment is biased because her own future rests on her child's survival. But then more attacks. I hope this didn't come from here. How'd they get the story?
Somebody heard the rumor.
Boss, I look incompetent. Him unless we indict the father.
Sure, we got the right to the ambulance, but we got a witness.
36 million gallons sold every 10 seconds. The dumbest lawyer in town can do an OJ DNA with it.
And Finn are gonna need a search warrant for the kid's apartment.
It's done. He's saying anything?
Not directly. Likes the sound of his own voice.
Call me if he gives us anything useful. I've seen that smile. Usually before he demolishes the prosecution. We'll convict Webster for both killings. He does consecutive time. It's 50 years before he sees a parole. I think we should prosecute action, not thought. Who kills a Klansman does additional time, or a gay man who kills a homophobe. I mean, where do we draw the line?
Hate crime. Yeah. We'll be right there.
Okay.
Is clear. New York doesn't have an insanity defense of irresistible impulse.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
To hatred.
Why are you doing this, Oliver?
Note how it lights up.
Did you perform this test on Sean Webster?
Yes. His
Pictures of people's brains, whether they'll kill other people. Your Honor?
Angela.
Eventually predict.
Eventually.
But not now.
Colleagues at the Ranney Psychiatric Institute to replicate Dr. Silver's experiments.
Tell us what had the same subcortical activity as... Oh, you hate Muslims. Do you hate black people too, Sean?
No, ma'am.
The Chinese, Japanese. Vic.
The Muslims come here, and they study engineering and aviation.
He said his father died in Desert Storm. I need to know whether Sean killed out of hate or revenge. Find out how the father died.
Case.
No deal. There's no way I acknowledge an ounce of validity in this cockamamie defense. Based on speculation, on maybes and could-bes, on maybes.
What's this about?
Still want a deal? Coming to yours. He pleads 3 counts until we get the results.
Well, he may have killed Shannon.
Just because he slept with her? I can't take that to the grand jury. And say,
He wants to go home.
then cut him loose. He's not the only suspect. We know he's lying.
Start with the Connors and ask them why they didn't want Romeo and Juliet to see.
How much was the jewelry worth?
Thank you.
Susan stole the diamonds, she had the gun, she had the motive. I have married to Jason, Mrs. Connor.
26 years.
Did you have any inkling he was planning to leave? Your witness?
Client.
Detectives Benson and Stabler meet Denise Brockmorton, legal counsel for the New York Home School League.
And we're just asking a few questions.
While you're holding Jacob hostage.
His mother wouldn't let us in the door. We had to investigate.
You mean go on a witch hunt?
The detectives are merely trying to ensure that Jacob is returned to a safe and healthy home and prove it.
Marilyn?
Your client just confessed to murdering his brother. Again, should be allowed to enter the plea of his psychiatric treatment long before his suicide. Suicide? He killed his brother. He broke the law and pled guilty. I can't ignore that.
Calling me judge. I'm not on the bench anymore.
It's a habit from when I used to clerk for you.
And when we're having drinks, call me Mary.
What should I call you when I'm begging for advice?
Brilliant.
The boy thought he was doing the right thing when he shot his brother. He's willing to go to jail for... Guess I don't. It's weird, I never used to feel this way. Tell me, whatever Mom says, he said.
Do you feel this boy deserves to be charged? Do you?
Things so bad, you'd be better off dead.
Stop.
Living with something I don't know what to do. Not,
Yes, it is.
including her children.
Absolutely. Adam will...
Because their mother told them they'd be better off dead than in foster. Children home alone with a loaded gun. What did she think was gonna happen?
So your son...
Or perhaps you wanted an airtight alibi.
I'm just...
Video cameras and to pay with a credit card for a $5 purchase. Kids away, but she didn't call them ACS. She said DIFUS. About the night Jacob died, didn't she? Tell me what happened.
Kid might not have been much safer with his real mama. ACS removed Jamie after his little.
Could be found liable, which would weaken our case against Sam Dufoy. We should check it out. Can't take it without getting a subpoena first. Thank you.
They want us here.
Oh, he's just out of control.
Sir, if it's an emergency, call 911. Otherwise, you should call your ACS caseworker.
I have called. She never answers. I want help, you hear? I want him.
I'll put a rush on the subpoena. You get a hold of all of Mariel's case files. See what else she forgot to tell us.
Her fault. Asked for help and didn't get it.
And if a jury buys it, Sam could walk.
What are you gonna do, plead him out?
No way. He killed that kid. Question is, who do I try first? If I go with Sam and put Mariel on the stand, she can't testify without incriminating herself. But I don't want to give her immunity.
What's your gut tell you?
Get the facts on the record. Catch a little fish before I go for the big one.
And to clog up the courts, to try someone on a couple of clerical errors?
Designed to conceal the fact she recklessly endangered a child.
My client was to see official record. You drop all other charges.
No thanks. She takes a felony plea guilty.
The due process...
Not attributable to the conducts of its employees. Jamie Semple's death in foster care is analogous to a prisoner in state custody, and that state officials like Miss Plummer attacked your caseworker, Mariel Plummer. How many times?
Jamie?
Well, what could Mariel have done? Thank you.
How old is the bloodstain?
At most, a few days. Otherwise... Mom? Wrong blood group.
She'll be in the hospital 5-6 days.
All right, that's fine. I can get a judge and a clerk down here for a bedside arraignment.
I wasn't aware that
She molested a 12-year-old whom she subsequently kidnapped. Now, this woman knew what she was doing was wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fascinating, but I'm not performing brain surgery here. I'm just trying to get a pedophile off the streets. Positive. Maybe she'd been a predator all along and the tumor just made her sloppy. Additional boys have come forward.
Raped?
One sent to her office, was hugged and kissed. The other two were fondled.
When?
All in the last month. Look, she's committed multiple felonies. She has to pay for them.
Tendencies before the tumor.
And are those tendencies still there?
understand.
But she never acted on it until the tumor wiped out her impulse control.
I found a similar out of the blue.
Let me guess, same brain tumor.
It was
her fault and she's perfectly cured, but if the lesion recurs, she'll do it again until she registers as a sex offender.
Never worked with kids.
Better safe than sorry.
It can happen to any one of them, they'll acquit.
No,